Welcome, everybody. Good to have you with us. I'm Dan McDermott. Cadeas is here. We'll get to him in just a moment. He's in Newport Beach, California. Our first story, apologize for being late. Wasn't my fault this time. Our first story is, I saw this on VentureBeat, of all places. And this is, you can now pin a post on a Google profile. Oops. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, okay. So I can't do that. I can't share my screen. You can pin a post on a profile and on Pages. Facebook has allowed you for years to do this on Pages, but now you can do it. What this means is you can pick a post. For example, one use case would be for me or other people who do shows like Yafat Cohen or Brad and others. And like say I got the post of this show. What I could do is pin it to my profile and then unpin it on Monday and pin the Android Week show. And then if anybody stalks my profile throughout the week, they typically would go to your posts, maybe your about. Your about, of course, is a static page you can change anytime. But this kind of gives you that same ability to have at least one post be sort of like a static page. If someone's
Yeah, so
just
like
looking
an
at your
upcoming
posts.
show or just some kind of news, anything. If you wanted to do anything to bring it front and center, as opposed to a person having to scroll and scroll and scroll to find what you posted Monday. If this is what you want to talk about for the week or something like that, that would be a good place to post it. And then when people visit your page, then they'd see that person and they want to comment, and as maybe you can use it as like a hot topic or something for the week. So
And it
yeah.
could be just that. It could be something that went mini viral or something, has a lot of traction, a lot of comments, and you want to pin that one up there for a few days. So I think it's just another feature that I could certainly use. Anybody who's a content creator, if Cadeas, if Alan had a big event coming up where he was speaking, and maybe some people have heard about it and they want to go to his profile and quickly find where the event is and when, the details, then that's something useful for him. So you can pin posts to pages and profiles. So there's that. Okay, next up is, this is going to be a short show. Alan is traveling. Pam can't make it, or she's going to be late, I'm not sure. Next up, we have Google is going to implement a 25% Google tax. And the thing is, there's been this long running controversy about creative accounting. And the latest thing is, what's it called? A inversion? Cadeas, is that's when if I ask a question, it's for you because you're the only other person here. um,
Well, you were still talking, so I wasn't going to interrupt you.
but like,
Essentially,
what do you think?
essentially, if you're running a business out of, let's say you're a U.S. company and you're running a business out of the U.K. and or you're doing business in the U.S. and the U.K. Basically, it's saying the U.K. is saying that they want a portion of the profits that you're making, or at least this is what I get from the story, is that they're saying that they want a portion of, or 25% to be specific, um, of the profits that you're making off of their, depending on what service you're providing or whatever. They want a portion of the fact of having access to their country. So I I've noticed that a lot of countries are talking about this, where they want to be able to still get the taxes even though you're not based out of their area. What do you think? Do you think they should do that?
Well, I'm not for paying more taxes, but they got a point. What they typically do in these situations is, here's one example. Let's say that Cadeas Incorporated was going to have some sort of site and sell ads, or be an Amazon and sell products. Um, let's say he's going to sell Android watches, and so he's going to sell them to people in the UK. And so what he does is he creates a company in Ireland, and on paper, Cadeas.com, Cadeas USA leases the rights to the name Cadeas Watch, the K Watch, to Cadeas Ireland Incorporated. And then the entity in the UK that's actually shipping and the watches, they have a presence in the UK. They are licensing the right to the K Watch name from Cadeas Ireland. So Cadeas UK generates, say, $1 billion in gross profit and pays $900 million to Cadeas Ireland for the intellectual property rights to the name. So really they only made $100 million profit. So it's a legal scam, but it's a scam. If there is such a thing as a legal scam, I don't know if that's an oxymoron. But they are, I mean, it's creative accounting, but it's perfectly legal and it's perfectly transparent. And if they want to change the law, they can change the law. And that's what it looks like they want to do.
Because that's what the UK is doing.
Yeah. Is that a good example? I mean, is that a good explanation of one way? I know there are various ways.
Yeah, I mean there are various ways, but that's just one scenario because every company does something different. So all the industries aren't exactly the same. So yeah, I don't know. I think that would encourage me to not proactively do things in the UK or for whatever country that's wanting to do this, because essentially, at least what I get from this is that you're going to charge me an additional 25% because you're not getting whatever tax rate you would be getting if I was a UK company.
Yeah, but you're still making profit. You're still making profit, right? And a lot of them do this stuff because the USA has the highest corporate tax rate in the industrialized world, 35%. So they want to keep their money overseas. They would very much like to bring their money here and invest it here, but they can't. So because of this draconian tax rate. So I think we're talking a tax on their gross profit, I think. So in other words, it's not taxing their gross sales like a VAT would. It is taxing their profit. So if that's the case, instead of making 95% of their profit tax-free, they're making 70% of their profit tax-free. So they're still making a profit. It's still worth it. And I'm sure but they have a fiduciary duty to minimize their tax burden legally as best they can, or they could be sued by shareholders, right? That's their job. Just like anybody at home, you go to the tax guy and you say, can I claim half my living room where my computer is, and I do my work? Can Cadeas claim that room that he's in? So there's that. They're just doing on a somewhat larger scale the same thing. All right, so next up is this loony Project Loon. Google's quote-unquote impossible plan to beam internet from solar-powered balloons is actually working. And then it says, here's how. This is a good article from Slate. What basically, in a nutshell, is they were criticized at first from people who actually did balloon stuff. They said these are not going to stay up because their goal is to have the balloons in, I don't know, somewhere in the ozone layer, whatever the hell it is. Is it the stratosphere, or is that's what I was going to say.
I'm saying something.
Somewhere high up, like Colorado, Washington high. And so 180 days, and just basically have a whole chain of them beaming low LTE to underserved areas in the world. So I don't know if it's in a line or if I don't know if it's all around the world, or I don't know what the hell. But anyway, they were having.
I believe it's certain regions. It's actually wherever it's over. So.
But is it going to cover the entire world, or just going to cover?
Just wherever it's floating at. So it's set so they can move it whenever they need to move it. So. Okay. If I'm going to go to the remote desert and the salt desert, I can have Google put a little loon up above that area, and I would get Wi-Fi signal for that area for that period of time that it's above it.
Can someone shoot them down?
I've never seen them in the sky, so I don't know.
Because when they go to North Korea and Iran and start sending, evil stuff to North Korea and Iran, they're going to try to shoot the things down, right? I don't know. We'll
I don't
see.
know.
They're pretty high up. I'm sure that they're going to figure that out. Whoever figures out how to shoot it down is going to be making a lot of money from Iran and North Korea. So anyway, good for them. I remember when Vic shared the post about Project Loon. He said one of the reasons it's called Project Loon is because it's so crazy. um, so anyway, all right, that's Google's balloon project. Next up, Google's Santa Tracker can teach kids how to code this Christmas. This is kind of a neat thing. They have the Santa Tracker. I guess it competes with Noah, or it used to be in cahoots with them, and then now Noah is in with Microsoft, I think. So they have their own thing. But anyway, it's this thing where little kids can get on there and track Santa as he goes around the world giving presents to all of us godless infidels. And then now they're going to have little code lessons where kids can, I think, solve a puzzle, and in doing so, they can learn some basic JavaScript. So that's a cute little idea for little kids. I'm sure Cadeas is strongly against this whole notion of teaching young people to code.
No.
All right, next is
I wish Alan was here for this story. This one, I can just see Alan flipping out about it.
yeah, it was pretty cool. Okay, Psy's Gangnam Style literally broke YouTube. That's what the headlines were, but not really. Do you know this one? Can you explain this one?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay.
I can't do the Alan Furstenberg on this one. So.
I don't know how many these stories he's read, but he's not read up to this point. So, yeah, today's been very busy. Alan, you don't miss him until he's gone, or you don't appreciate him until he's gone. But anyway, so what it is they never. It's 2 point something billion hits, and when they set up the servers for the counter, YouTube never anticipated a video getting over 2 point whatever billion views. And so when as it approached that number, they're like, uh-oh. I don't know if they discovered it before, if it just wouldn't increment anymore, or what happened. But they actually had to switch from, I guess, 32 to 64-bit for the number, or for the server, or whatever they did. So they had to upgrade YouTube servers. I don't know for all of them, or, just like hits like this program or Gangnam Style, that sort of thing. That'd be a nice problem to have. Have Sergey call you up. Dan, chill. He's made a lot of money on that video. I wonder how much he's made. What would you guess?
You said it's about probably a couple million.
Oh, more than that. I think, what is it, about 5 million, or a million views is a few thousand, about $5,000.
Yep.
Especially if it's quality. And in that case, usually they're not skippable if it's a hot video like that. And most people are watching the entire video. So let's say if it's 5,000, it'd be 5 million for a billion. So he's probably made $10 million off of YouTube from that song, more or less. I would guess. I'm not sure. I'm going to try to find comments in just a moment, but things are kind of hectic. I also have this weird Twitter thing. Let me know if you like it or don't like it. And I know I'm going to get 15 questions. How are you doing it? I'm using a Chrome extension called Notifier for Twitter. And then I have my desktop background is just solid color, and I'm chroma keying it and overlaying it in the shot. That's for the Wirecast and Open Broadcaster people who want to know how I'm doing that. All right, so next up, why CBS went dark on Dish. It's all about the internet. So there are a couple things here. CBS in a couple cities, including Los Angeles, has gone dark on Dish Network. There's a couple reasons for this. One, CBS has its own app that they're selling their content for, I think, $6 a month, and Dish is planning their own like $30 a month service. You won't need a satellite dish. You'll be able to get programming. They've already signed up the Disney and NBC properties because largely because they can't not sell it to Dish if they'll sell it to other people because of the limitations imposed on them when they merged or were bought by Comcast. And I think they've got some other networks, but CBS, I guess, is holding out for either more money. I think their last deal was in 2012 for 53 cents a home, and now they want a couple bucks per subscriber. And so they're, this, I would say, doesn't hurt CBS as much as it hurts Dish. What do you think when these blackouts happen? I think that they hurt the carriers.
Yeah, I think it ends up in the end. It looks like Dish is bad, and I would say because a lot of people's not going to dig and try to find out why it's not happening. All they know is that when they turn Channel 5, it's no CBS there, and I pay Dish to have Channel 5 CBS there, so it really makes those people look bad. It doesn't make CBS look bad. I mean, Dish will have to go out of their way to change their customer perception. But all they know is that they pay their service provider for Dish and Channel 5, and they're not getting it. So I think they shouldn't. I think they should try to sort things out a little bit differently. But this is good. Let them keep doing this little silly stuff, and then pretty soon everybody will start going to the internet for their content, which is a better move anyway. I mean, if CBS has such great content, then I don't mind paying $6 to watch their great content. But I hate paying $300 or whatever rate that people pay a month for to only because I want to see the Super Bowl and I want to see this and that. So I pay this monthly service every month for stuff I'm not watching. So I would rather do something like a Netflix or a CBS or Go or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Then
I think traditionally it does hurt them. So you can't get your Amazing Race on tonight. Um, they got a lot of shitty programming.
yeah, CBS isn't one that I would
Of all the ones to
necessarily.
lose,
Right. I think that the only show that I've liked about theirs was Jericho. So that goes all the way back to like 2002, 2003. So it's a long time ago that I'd actually liked something from CBS.
all the good
So,
stuff gets canceled. That was a great show. I think it's on
yeah.
either Amazon or Netflix. If you haven't seen it, Jericho. It's a wonderful show. I'm not going to tell you what it's about because there's no way to talk about it without major spoilers. But if you haven't seen it, it wasn't a big hit. That's a shame. Um, okay,
It
so
was just not big enough for CBS to want to keep it. They wanted to get rid of it, but the fan base wouldn't let them. So they rolled it on into the second season and then ended it pretty quickly.
I mean, it wouldn't have been a huge hit because if it was, CBS would have kept it because they don't have too many big hits. I mean, how many 60 minutes
I
can
mean,
you have?
if I remember correctly, there were millions of people watching it. They were just watching it on DVR because Fox, I think it was competing with American Idol at that time.
When people watched American Idol.
Right, so people watched that live and then they'd go back and watch Jericho the next day or whatever. And so that CBS didn't like that. So they figured they'd cancel the show as opposed to moving the time.
The best
So,
part, I mean, a lot of it was because it was new, but the best part was Simon trolling Paula. You know,
oh, you're talking about American Idol.
yeah.
I didn't watch that often, so.
But Simon, he was an ass, but he was almost always right. Um, Not a diplomat. Okay, so DirecTV contract punishes HBO if the streaming only gets too popular, sources say. This is from a Wall Street Journal article, rewritten by whatever I linked to. And so I guess if over X hundreds thousands of people, I think if over 455,000 people subscribe in their area, then they don't have to promote HBO that much. They don't have to run a bunch of ads for free to promote HBO. Um, this isn't a huge story, but this gets to the cord cutting and the impact. Um, I was watching this wonderful thing with Jeff Jarvis interviewing, is it Shane Smith from Vice?
Oh, yeah. Shane Smith, got it.
Okay, so he is fascinating. They're predicted to do $1 billion next year. What he does, they have five. Did you know they have 5,000 correspondents worldwide?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how they're able to get the news so fast because they're just about it everywhere, or somebody's close enough that they can get there in a couple hours.
So what they do, it's really interesting. What they do, like they had this breathtaking coverage of ISIS. They were traveling with ISIS guys, and it was just wow. It was amazing coverage, and the way they do it is, he said, there's these great things like the Knight Foundation, which finds a struggling journalism startup that doesn't have any money, but they're doing great work on a shoestring, and it gives them money so that they can expand and survive. So what he said was, you know what? Why don't we do this for 1,000 groups? Have Vice do it, and we'll give them money. They do the journalism, we get the content. And then what he does is, he said instead of just buying the content or the rights, he said we own the content, and he has like hundreds of editing bays. And so what they do is they will they'll run it. They can run it on YouTube. And he said that they became the #1 YouTube channel. They had the most subscribers, the most views of any channel on YouTube, the biggest ratio of likes to dislikes. He said that what they do is then they can take it and they can sell it to television. Like I think they have an HBO weekly show on. They can also sell it because he said the mobile companies are desperate for content, and there's a dearth of content and more people who want it. Like we've talked about, CBS has a lot of shitty shows. There aren't enough Losts out there, and so if you can do really good content and do it on a regular basis, like Vice is doing, then they make money on the internet. They make money. They want to buy. He hinted that he wanted to buy HLN, former Headline News. He said they're doing a bad job running it. We think we do a better job running it. And because the cable channel still has a footprint you can't match on the internet, which is weird, but it's true. There's more money to be made with a cable channel than the biggest YouTube video or YouTube channel. Then also the mobile companies want content, like Verizon. He said Vodafone has like 800 million customers overseas. If they did, he said right now they have a show on Snapchat. It was funny. He said it's probably the most watched news show in the world, and it disappears right after you watch it. And so I just think it's a fascinating model. And if you just Google Shane Smith, Jeff Jarvis, it's about 57 minutes long, and it's on YouTube, uploaded around December 4th, December 5th, 2014, if you're watching this later. And if you are a content creator or interested in becoming one, or a newspaper publisher, or any kind of content producer like I am, it's a must watch. I don't even know. I shouldn't have shared that with you because it's so good. I don't want anybody to know. But what are your thoughts? Are we seeing a hastening of the demise of the traditional, as Craig would say, old media?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
I've been saying it and it's just with each passing year, it's just getting
it
more
seems
and
like
more.
it's with each passing month.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
even my
accelerating.
mother, even my mother was sitting here. Somebody who loved to watch those daytime shows or whatever. She was like, "Yeah, my iPhone. I need a new iPhone because I'm missing my shows on CBS." And I'm like, "Can't you just turn on the TV?" But she watches all of her content. I didn't know that, but now she watches all her content on her mobile device. And she had an iPhone 4, and I guess they updated the app or whatever, and then it wasn't compatible, and so I had to go get her an iPhone 6, so that way she can go back to watching her shows.
She must
So.
have some good eyes if she can watch content on an iPhone 4. Good
That's what
Lord.
she's doing all this time, but she likes the 6, bigger screen. So she likes the 6.
Okay. All right. I'm hoping you could talk a little bit about this because I'm going to try to catch the comments up while you're talking. But Target, I'm getting that look from today. It's like, oh. Um, all right. So Target got hacked last year, 2013, and a judge has ruled that banks can sue Target for the credit card hack. So what's interesting is I thought those interchange fees were sort of an insurance policy so that if someone hacked into your thing or stole a card, that the store wouldn't have to pay. Um, Akin to if I left my wallet on my car seat and went into 7-Eleven to buy a cup of coffee and came out and realized I didn't have my credit card, went back and someone had stolen my car and stolen my credit card and used it, I could call the bank and those charges, I wouldn't have to pay them. And somebody eats it, right? I don't know if it's, I
But
guess,
it's usually the insurance.
say that one more time, you broke up.
It's usually the insurance company that eats it.
Whose insurance company? The credit cards or
Well, the
mine?
bank the bank has insur the bank has insurance, and so to my understanding, the whenever you do a fraud claim, that and they I guess after it goes through its checks and passes, basically they claim that on the bank's insurance.
But the bank's
But the bank
insurance.
can, but you're right. But so obviously, if this keeps happening, then the insurance rates are raised on the bank, so the bank should be able to turn around and sue Target. That would make sense, I guess.
And I guess it's different if I'm negligent and left my wallet there because I'm a consumer. The loss will be small. compared to a Target breach, which hundreds
Right.
of millions just to replace the cards was hundreds of millions, not including anything that was stolen with the card numbers.
Right.
Um, and so I guess it's interesting, and this is just going to, in the end, we're paying for it anyway, because regardless of whether Target pays or the bank pays, we're paying we're going to pay with higher interchange or higher price of the store either way. We're going to end up paying the consumer. It will be passed on to us. And the second part of this is a new wave of credit card fraudsters opt for in-store pickup options. So what they'll do is, let's say that Cadeas went to Target last year and bought some stylish clothing, because you have to be
Target.
really skinny to shop at Target for clothing. And yeah, you would not wear Target clothes. But anyway, so what they're going to do is, let's say that he swiped his card, his credit card got hacked in this thing. They're looking that then they will try to find someone in Newport Beach to order something online at Walmart or Target or wherever, and they prefer iPads and iPhones, that sort of thing, Apple products. Then they do in-store pickup, because that way they're claiming to be Cadeas. They don't want it to be shipped to Cadeas's house. The old days, they just meet the UPS guy and beat him and take the package. But now they can just go into Walmart and they can do it real quick, because now you can order something at Walmart, site to store, and if it'll you can pick it up in an hour. If you know, I don't know why you wouldn't just do it at a terminal, right? Why would you do it on the internet? I don't get. Or maybe you do, I don't know. I don't know how that works. If you're going to go to the store anyway. But
I
that, I
think it
mean,
depends on the store.
yeah. So these stores are kind of self-explanatory, but what's the solution here, Cadeas? Because people don't want to go do cash and have change in your pocket anymore. It's all plastic. The only time I use cash is if I want to tip somebody. Like, there's this place I discovered that has great El Salvadoran food, and there's a little lady who doesn't speak English, and she cooks wonderful food, and I'd like put a couple dollars in a little box, right? Which you could tip because it's like $5 for a meal. And so I'm a quite a good tipper at the low end. But what do you do? What's the solution? Because even you said chip and pin's coming, but I think you guys said that wasn't foolproof.
I mean,
Talk for a minute on this. I'll be right back.
go ahead. The thing with this is that no matter what's going on, whether it is if you have just cash and there's always a risk involved, and so depending on which way you choose, you're going to have a risk. So in my opinion, I don't think that there's going to be any. I mean, there's no foolproof way to do anything. Once we develop a new system, someone finds a loophole in that system. That's just how it works. So, so I honestly, I don't think that it's going to. I don't think. I mean, we can keep combating it, but I don't think that it's going to do any good. They'll just find a new loophole of some sort. So chip and pin's coming. Then when chip and pin gets here, we'll have something new that'll be able to circumvent that sooner or later. So, like with the dollars, when they changed the dollars, though, yeah, we're gonna do this to add these little marks to make it it's counterfeit and all that. Then next thing you know, somebody finds a way to counterfeit it. It's just the way it works. So I honestly don't think really that you can do. You just diversify everything, so then that way you limit your risk involved. So don't put all your eggs in one basket.
I'm going to play a game. Whenever you freeze, I'm going to finish the sentence. Like you
Okay.
said. So I don't know.
I don't know that I'm frozen, so I just
Right,
keep
you said
talking.
I don't know, and then you freeze, and I'm going to say, or you said I don't, and then you froze. I'm going to say have a clue, because see, I can just finish. However, I control Cadeas, and he's vulnerable right now because he's very flustered. He was screaming on the phone with Brazil and China. Literally, that's why we were late.
Literally.
He's like, you're writing code for me and you can't operate your phone or something, I think. He was making some big deal. Okay, Verizon's Mindly Walk News tech site is now completely dead. This is hilarious. They had this site called Sugar String, and it was sponsored by Verizon. And the reason they got trolled was it was just a propaganda site. It was like VOA or something for Verizon. And they had an ad that said you weren't allowed to talk about net neutrality or something else. I can't pull it up because I can't do the screen share. I screwed something up. A rare damn fail. So anyway, they had stories like why Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong on something, right? And Neil Tyson's not wrong on anything that I've ever heard. Um, he's like one of my heroes, and but I just think it's just a funny. You should go to the link the viewers and check it out because it's funny. It was just such a fail, and such an awful site and so stupid. So next up, and I really don't understand this, and I haven't read the whole thing. So if you are not familiar, should we skip it? The Hawking story.
Yeah, I mean, we can tell the article title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intel has overhauled Stephen Hawking's speech system and releasing it for free. They're going to open source it and release it for free. I think that's fantastic. So I guess people will be able to contribute to it. And he's not the only person who can't speak, right? So he's the most famous. I don't even know what the name of his condition is. But he's got a wonderful sense of humor, which I didn't realize until I saw the Stephen Colbert interview with him, and it was just hysterical. He was trolling Stephen as good as he was getting. I mean, he was great. Um, and I want to see the movie that either came out or is coming out about him. That's going to be pretty neat. Obviously, a brilliant guy, an Einstein of our time. Uh, ABC News anchor John Muir is going to do a brief Facebook newscast, like a minute or two or something. And it's going to go on Facebook every day. And they're billing it as the first major broadcast network news anchor to do a newscast specifically for a social network or for social media. So it's going to be a 1 minute newscast on the Facebook page for ABC News. Cadeas, doesn't this sound like more of an ad to watch ABC News if they're billing as a newscast? How much can
Yeah,
you do in you know?
yeah, but then too, who does it? Somebody else does it. YouTube does that. YouTube does the same thing. They got the was it Tube Nation? I can't remember what the show's called. They just find they have one little story that or topic, and then they go and bring you videos from YouTube that you can see more about this topic. So that's kind of it's not the first. They're not new. It's not a new concept like they're trying to make it sound.
I love.
Maybe it's a new concept for news.
You remember when you were a kid on CBS in the news, and they had like a little 1 minute thing in the cartoons.
That must have been you.
You
When I
weren't
was a
watching the
kid,
cartoons. You were coding.
when I was a kid, they didn't have that, Dan.
And
Yeah.
the best thing was Schoolhouse Rocks or
Yeah,
Schoolhouse
see,
Rock.
by the time Schoolhouse Rock was done and over with by the time I was born.
Oh, it was
So,
done and over with for me. I bet it was rerun, but God, that thing
oh,
was funny. The Saturday Night Live skit that they did with it was a parody of the "I'm Just a Bill." I'm just a bill, and
yeah, I think that's the
I'm on
most
Capitol
famous
Hill, but I'm
one.
going to be a law one day. And they had the guy who does a really good job playing President Obama. And then they had um, who's the guy, black dude, heavy set, funny as he's like one of the stars, the big SNL guys. He was the Bill, and then they had a fat white dude as the executive order. This was on immigration, right? And Obama kept kicking the bill down the stairs, and then of course it was hilarious. And then the guy said, "I'm in executive order," and I pretty much just happened. And he smoked a It was just you got to see it. I've ruined that. It's a shame. Alan's probably punching his screen if he's watching, or will be in 30 seconds because there's a delay. Okay, next up is the U.S. introduces menu calorie labeling to fight obesity. Now, we've already seen this, perhaps in some states, I'm not sure. I know that McDonald's rolled it out nationwide. This is part of the Affordable Care Act, billed as Obamacare, that you have to, if you're a chain of, I think, over 10 or 50 restaurants, you have to put um, on the menu or the menu board, depending if you're fast, casual, or sit down, you have to put the calories on there. And I think Starbucks may do this, and I know McDonald's does it. I think they did it nationwide. So you go in there and you see an Egg McMuffin's 300 calories, the Steak McMuffin's this. Does that? I mean, you're a fit guy. You exercise and you eat well, Cadeas. But I find when I go to McDonald's, I do look at those numbers. And but you know who the hell goes to McDonald's? I don't know anybody getting a freaking salad at McDonald's. You don't go to McDonald's for healthy stuff. I know they got it on the menu, but it's a PR gimmick. If I'm going to McDonald's, I want I want grease running down my freaking arm. You know what I mean? Like you go to Philly cheesesteak place. Yeah, I'd like the salad, hold the dressing. No, come on. What do you think? Is this? I think definitely it will encourage. Food will not taste as good a few years from now because it's going to encourage the chains to like switch, like when they switched from lard to, cottonseed oil or whatever. When McDonald's switched from
Honestly,
trans fats.
I don't think anybody, like you said, if you're going to McDonald's or whatever, I don't think any of those people are looking at the calories and pulling out the little app and trying to, oh, I just ate 16 calories. They're not going for calories and all that stuff. Are generally eating healthy, not McDonald's. They're not trying to eat fast food. So I think this is just a waste of time.
Does anyone really want to know you're eating 3,000 calories at Golden Corral? I mean, does anyone really, you know what I'm
They
saying?
should want to know that. They should want to know that, but they don't. So,
You know who goes? I used to do a small buffet at one of my restaurants. It was a breakfast buffet, and I was talking to a guy. He said that the number one item on every buffet, at least in Virginia and Pennsylvania where he's worked, he said fried chicken is the number one item on every buffet. He said in America. And if you think about it, you always see fried chicken at every. If a grocery store has a any kind of hot food buffet, like a nicer grocery store like Kroger or whatever, near the deli usually, they always have chicken. Even if sometimes at lunch they'll have other stuff like baked beans and Salisbury steak or whatever, and then like by 4 p.m. it's basically the beef jerky bar because it's all dry. But they always have the chicken going. And there was a point to what I was saying, which is lost on me now. Oh, the guy told me, he said the customers you get, buffets are hard because the customers you get are either obese people or old people because they might not have good teeth, so they can pick stuff they can eat. They might have certain dietary requirements, or people with certain dietary requirements in general. That's who you get. It's hard to make money on a buffet. You got to manage it. When we had the breakfast buffet, I would it was at the end of the night to hopefully keep the people sober them up a little bit at my bar. And what I would do is we'd have the tater tots, which I figured were the cheapest form of potato. Then we had sausage gravy and biscuits, which are really cheap to make. And then I'd have like bacon or ham, but we only put out a little bacon, and we run out. Oh, we got more bacon coming. We got more sausage coming, and then but have some tater tots and some biscuits, and we'll have some more bacon coming. And we put out like 3 pieces of bacon, like a giant thing of tater tots. Filled them up, and then as soon as they got home, they were in a carbohydrate-induced coma and went to sleep. Okay, next up is God. I hope you can talk a little bit about this.
I was already looking at it, so I can talk a little bit about it.
Wow.
I,
So, Li-Fi gets ready to compete with Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi being what? I don't
Radio
know.
frequency versus li-fi is going to be light,
But what does
basically.
Wi-Fi stand for? Wide.
Yeah. Why is that relevant? The point of the matter is that it's Wi-Fi. I have no idea what it stands for.
But I must
Uh,
know. So I'm
okay,
going to look at
let's send
comments
a
while
call
you
Google.
school me. This is basically like it's sort of the same technology as fiber optic cable, except there's no cable. It's just line of sight, a center and receiver. One's shooting LED, one's reading it. You could theoretically do it both ways, right? Obviously, you would.
To a degree, apparently they're using basically they use the colors of the light to be able to transmit data. So they said they can do up to a few meters. And so basically they're wanting to put this in place of replacing or Wi-Fi because they say it can go faster and a little bit further, a little more stable. So like they're getting speeds. I think the original test they were getting speeds of 155 megabits.
Why wouldn't you
And
run Ethernet?
huh?
Why wouldn't you just run Ethernet?
Megabits, yeah, you're better off running an Ethernet cable. However, if they can, they're saying that the new test that they're running, they're getting about 15 gigabits. So that's
Oh
gonna
wow.
be yeah, so that's gonna be a little bit better than Ethernet. So yeah, so this is basically they're just trying to do it based on light, essentially. And I kind of like that. The only thing is that sometimes you just want to use the computer in the dark, and so you go to turn off the computer and you cut your internet connection. So But I'm sure they can fix that stuff. So, but yeah, so they've ran a couple tests, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I mean, I don't think they didn't put really a time frame on it. Oh, here it is, 25 years. So they're looking like 25 years from now. So yeah.
Okay, so I have. This is funny. Okay, Mark has a question. I got two comments. Pam, I can't put these up. I don't know why. Pam says, "Crap, I'm not even home, Dan." That's one comment. The second comment, great video and thanks for sharing, Dan. Wait for it, Kadesh. Just got a question. What is the app you're using to have pop-ups on the right side? That's funny. Okay, it's called the Noti. It's an app. It hasn't been updated for a while. It's called Notify. It's a Chrome extension, Notifier for Twitter. Oops, Notifier for Twitter, or yeah, Notifier for Twitter. So you just log in, and it just makes those things pop up. And all day long when I'm working on stuff, as my tweets come in, it's actually faster than the Twitter.com on your in the browser. That's delayed a few seconds. So as I see stuff as my tweets come in, whoever I follow, it just appears like right there. And so I just have a blue screen. I can't show it, but it's that color, right? And so I have a blue screen, and then I chroma key that out, and just put that as the top layer. The top layer is that. The second layer is the Google Plus logo, there. Then me. Then Kadeus. Even though you can't see him, his audio is coming in that same thing, I think. So he's there for that. So all that happened. All right, so those are the comments, and let me see if I got YouTube comments. Nope. Okie dokie. See, there's not as much controversy without Alan, so we don't have as many comments. Also, neither one of us has a clue what the hell we're talking about, so they're just being kind and not commenting. So anyway, okay, so Li-Fi is a thing. Coming up on Android Week, we will discuss Android news topics, including we'll be checking out the new Google News app that just came out. We need to have the Google News head again. He was awesome. I think he was on Google Plus Week. I don't think he was on the Android show. Richard Gingras. He was good. He's been on, I don't know how many, once or twice. I can't remember. So we'll be discussing all things Android. That's Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Google Plus and YouTube Live. Kadeus, how was your week? It was hectic, I see.
My week was great.
Okay. Kadeus is our spokesman. Anyway, so my week was good. As I alluded to earlier, and I posted a picture of it a couple days ago, I discovered this wonderful place. It's one of those little like grocery store type things, but it's like a mom and pop little independent convenience store in like an old building, and you go in there and the place is just jam packed, but it's not like a chain. And it's a Salvadoran family that owns it, and they've been there a few years, and they started selling food. And I'd been in there when it was just a grocery thing, but I went by and I noticed they had like a little seating area to the right, and I didn't know what the name was. There was no name on the sign. So I joked. I said that maybe they're called Open because the only sign said Open. But anyway, so I went in, and the food was just amazing. I mean, my God. And so I had pupusas because it said pupuseria and a sign. So I knew if they had Spanish signs that it was probably really good food, because if the local Spanish people are going, it's the real deal, right? If you're looking for good whatever Indian or Asian or Latino food, whatever, if you see the Indians, Asians, Latinos in line, then you know that's the real deal. It's good. So I went there and I had pupusas, which is like a thick tortilla, stuffed. So it's sort of like two tortillas put together, but it's thicker, and it's not really two put together. One's folded over. Anyway, it's on YouTube if you want to see how it's made. Stuffed with either cheese or beet or whatever you want, or of course refried beans. So I got one of each, and then this neat little coleslaw. And then tonight I had 3 tacos. Tacos that are actual South or Central American, Mexican down, do not in any way resemble anything at Taco Bell. Cadeas, you've had, I'm sure, authentic Hispanic food, right? Like tacos that are.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple times.
I think it's like two. It's corn tortillas. It's two of them, and they're not a hard shell like at Taco Bell. It's just basically they kind of put three of them together in a styrofoam thing. You have some, so it's like just the meat inside. There's no cheese. It's seasoned meat, but it's not ground beef. It's actual chunks of pork or beef. I think it's usually pork. And then they give you a little lime wedge for each taco, so you squeeze the lime juice on top. Oh, there's also onions and what's the green stuff? Oh my God, the green.
Guacamole,
No, the leaf, not basil. It's
cilantro.
cilantro. A lot of cilantro and onion together on top of the meat. Then you put the lime, and then they have some like a red sauce that's spicy and a green sauce. I don't know if it's mole or whatever, but it's kind of spicy. Just absolutely fantastic, and it's like $4.50 for three tacos. So I discovered that. That was exciting. I'd never had a homemade tortilla before. Where someone's like doing the thing, making the tortilla and putting it on the grill. Just wonderful food, and good for them. Okay, so anyway, that was my week. So we appreciate it, you watching, and both of your comments. Thank you both. And we are, as I mentioned, on Monday we do Our Android Week. That is at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Every Monday, Our Android Week. Watch it. Unless you're a fanboy of Apple. But you won't be for long if you watch Our Android Week, where we discuss Android topics. And then this program is Google Plus Week, which allegedly begins at 8:30 Eastern on Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, unless big dealings, international coding dealings are going on. 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, Friday, Google Plus Week. Thank you all very much. I will see you Monday night for our Android show. Until then, have an excellent Google Plus Week.